so you can see I've got the first hole cut, and I wanted to do just the first hole and make sure it all line up, kind of a proof of concept before I cut the other two. So let me show you now. It's a little bit easier to understand, I think, how it goes together. I've got the first hole cut. This was a little bit tedious, trying to get it cut right. I want to cut as close as possible. But with it cut now, see the pipe just slides through. And yeah, I can slide it through far enough that collar will go on it. And that'll keep it from wanting to fall out of the bucket. There's nothing on the inside that's going to keep it from falling. Well, it'll keep it from falling into the bucket. There's nothing that'll keep it from falling out of the bucket other than just friction, but I think that's okay. There's a couple little studs on the inside of the pipe. You can see now how it fits down inside of there. So I'll have this one here, and then you see it's just off center. I don't think I can fit 4, but I can fit 3, and that's what I bought was 3. So, I mean, maybe 4 would be a tight squeeze. You could probably fit 4, but I'm going to build it for 3. So now y'all see kind of how it goes in. So the chickens will be able to stick their head in here. And again, this piece, it's up off the bottom. If I can get out of the light so y'all can see, but it's up off the bottom. So I can put my hand underneath of it. So it's about 1.5 inches. Actually, it's up off the bottom. So the chickens will be able to get their heads in there and eat, no problem. Or so the feed will be able to flow in there, and the chickens will stick their heads in here and eat. They should be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get it whipped together real quick here in the next couple minutes, and shoot, I might go ahead and fill it up and go put it out. We got her done here. It's took me maybe 10 minutes to build this thing, so that's great. It's always good when you can do it quick. And you can see looking in from the top now, kind of how the elbows fit in there, and no, would not have been able to fit a 4th one, I don't believe. It would have been darn tight. These 3 fit pretty good in there. I didn't quite get it perfect. They're not quite even, but hey, I eyeballed it. I didn't measure anything. So again, you can just see if I reach under here, I can get my hand underneath there. So the feed will fill in all around here, and then just by gravity it'll work its way underneath of the, down underneath of each elbow, and then the chickens will be able to stick their heads in there and peck it and work it out. So like I said, I left about 1 inch, 1.5 inch gap underneath there, so a pretty good sized gap. Hopefully it should flow in no problem. There will be some inefficiencies in that feed will pile up out here on the edges, and the chickens won't be able to get to it, but it's going to be inside a bucket with a lid on it. It should be sealed, so it shouldn't be any issue as far as, it's not like it's going to go bad or get spoiled. And I'll probably, once a month or whatever anyway, dump the bucket out, clean it out, kind of make sure everything in there's a little bit fresher. But anyway, it looks like it's going to work. It really was as simple as everything on the internet said. So hopefully, hopefully it'll work well. And if it does, I'll certainly let you all know. And maybe you'll build your own. And the things on the internet said it was supposed to be the 25-pound feeder. Now, I don't think I put 25 pounds in there, which of course it's not full. But I think maybe there's about 10 pounds in there right now, 10 or 15 maybe. So maybe it could be 20 pounds, but I think y'all can see, oh, maybe not. Here, let me grab a flashlight so y'all can see that better. Okay, luckily I have a flashlight right inside the door there. Now my flashlight won't work, but there you go. So y'all can see the feed in there now. So the feed just falls in there. Just like I said, due to gravity, you can actually, I doubt you guys can see it really from this perception, but I can kind of see there's like a sloping effect, that the feed is higher there towards the edges than it is out in the middle, and that's of course what you'd expect. But anyway, I'm gonna snap the lid on this, and I'm gonna go stick it in the coop and see how the birds, see how they take to it. The littler birds probably aren't going to be able to get their necks in there to eat the babies. I think the bigger Americanas will certainly be able to, but I don't think the littler chicks will. So I'll have to keep a smaller feeder still in there for them to work on. But we'll see how they react to this thing and how they treat it. Sitting in the hive, or in not the hive, in the coop. It does take up quite a bit of space, which is a problem given the limited amount of space that I have in this coop. But conceptually, I think it certainly should work. We'll see. The big Americanas are kind of coming over to check it out. They're a little cautious, but I think they'll use it well enough. But for right now, I've got to keep this little one in here for all the little birds. You can see they sure do like to perch up on top of that one, and they tend to knock that lid off, which I've got a little latch for what it's worth there on it, but they still tend to get up there and knock it over. But anyway, yeah, so here's the feeder in the coop. Like I said, we'll see how it works.